Who doesn't like a good hero call story? Well, here's one. So I'm playing 5-5 at the Gardens, and I have ace-10 of diamonds. It's going to fold all the way around to the button. And this was about maybe 10 to 25 minutes of playing. So I got a little bit of an idea on how these guys play the button, though I have not really seen them play at all too much, but just kind of judging by all the calling he was doing pre-flop, I think he was not a pro or a regular. He seemed like he was trying to play correctly, but I felt like his VPIP was too high. So it folds to him and he opens to 15. Now, this was weird because he was making $25 calls, and I think he opened to 25 maybe twice already. So when he opens to 15, it didn't align with his image of having a hand that he wants to play and the bet size. So I will say that I judged him for having a weaker range here, and I did feel like he had the GTO range of just button opening in a 5-5 game after it folds to him. So which a button range is pretty wide. So if you look at this graph here, this is GTO Wizard recommendation for opening as a button if it folds all the way to you with 2 blinds left to act. You can see it's pretty wide. Pretty much everything in red is an opening hand. So if you have that hand, it is recommended that you open that hand, and it is a profitable decision if you do so. So that's the range I gave my opponent. So because of that, I 3-bet. And I 3-bet with a standard 3-betting hand in the small blind, as you can see here. So small blind, everything in red is a 3-bet. So everything in green is a call, and everything in blue is just a flat-out fold. So if you look at ace-10 suited here, almost 100% of that square is red, meaning if you're going to play that hand, which you should raise with it, and maybe only like 5 to 10% of the time do you actually just make a call. I suppose, you can decide based on how tight the player is to your right or how likely he is to 4 or 5 bet you. You can decide, make that your reason for calling or 3-betting. But so yeah, I decide to 3-bet, and I do so for a small size. So I 3-bet to 35, and I do this specifically because my opponent to my right only has a 350 starting stack. So I feel like, if I go normal 3-bet sizing, maybe $60, $75 here, I don't want him to feel committed to a jam. And if he does jam, I don't think I'm going to call, because ace-10 suited is not really the best hand to call off for a jam versus a jam. So I size down, and the only goal I have is get the big blind to fold. I don't want the big blind in. If he is going to call, I want to be heads up. It gets the job done. Button calls, and we go heads up to a king for flop. Now, having a backdoor diamond draw and having the range advantage here, it's okay to bet. I think it's really okay to bet. But I like to sometimes, actually I would say most of the time, on a paired board with paired aces or paired kings, as the aggressor, I like to check. And the reason I like to check is because most players at 5-5 no limit hold'em, if they did flop trips with like ace king here, they would slow play and check. So I feel like a check is scarier than an actual bet. Now, keep in mind, this is only against certain opponents. This opponent to the button was one of them. He checks back. We go to a jack of spades on the turn. And now at this point, I pick up a gut shot. I don't have a flush draw now, but I do have 1 over and a gut shot. And actually, I think my hand still might be good as is. So now I need to put in a bet. And my reasoning for putting in a bet here is if I did check a king to slow play on the flop, I would bet it on the turn. And I would bet for a small size because I'd want to keep you in the hand. So I play it, but I exaggerate my small size and I go to $15. Super small compared to the pot. But I feel like it is good enough to get like a weird, just random like 8, 10 hearts to fold and not allow that hand to bluff you later, or if it decided to. So I think it's good to just get folds out of guys who could bluff you, and I think it's also good if you're trying to pick up value from like a weaker ace high, believe it or not. And it's also a good way to test your opponent. So what I mean is my $15 bet should get raised if my opponent has a king, if he has a jack, if he has maybe a better draw like queen 10 of clubs. So when he just calls like he does here, he somewhat caps his range. I wouldn't say it's like 100% capped, but it gives me a better idea on how capped his range is. I think it would be really weird if he decided to like super slow play a king there and check and barely call the 15. A king or a set or like a huge combo draw or a jack always wants to like pile in more money. I would say not pile in, but maybe raise. So when the river comes and it's a 9 of diamonds, I just basically come to the conclusion that my hand is good. I don't think my opponent has ace queen. I think my hand is good here. I think my ace high is good, and I decide that I'm going to check. And I think that a lot of his small pairs like 2s, 3s, 6s, 7s, 8s, they're just going to check back. So I'm going to lose if I'm bad and he has those hands, but he'll check it. So when he bets 50, now I just have to go through my analysis on whether or not he's doing this as a bluff. And I think he's bluffing. And the reason I think he's bluffing here is because, like I said, all the hands that are pairs like 2s, 3s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, those hands just want to check back. Even like 10s might not go for value here. 10s, that would be kind of weird. They're just going to check and win. They're not going to risk getting check raised by a king. So the only thing he's really value betting here is queen 10. Like if he had queen 10 on the turn, he just called and then he hit it, and now he's betting his straight. So the only thing that really makes sense to me as a value bet is pocket 9s and queen 10. But I come to the conclusion that that is just way too unlikely. So because I think he's gonna bluff at it and he doesn't have queen 10 or pocket 9s, I make the call, and I was right. And my opponent did have ace 3 of clubs, which is weird because holding an ace, I think it would have been better off if he just checked it as well. His ace does have some showdown value. I don't think he was like that good to think like his ace is not going to win and I have a better ace. I don't think he was thinking like that. I think he was just thinking like, I don't have anything I need to bet. Like I really believe he genuinely didn't realize an ace is actually a good card to have on this river after it gets checked down to him. But anyway, yeah, so I hero call and I am correct. So how do you think I played this hand? Would you have played it the same way? I'm Pokerbrandon and I am out.
You're going to take it